Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia. I'm streaming live from the very heart of Russia, southern Russia, and I have a special guest today who'd like to stop by and say something to you, has a message.
Howdy, everyone.
Howdy, everyone. And that is a fantastic message. This is my son, Michael. Thank you so much. Are you gonna stay with me and stream, or are you gonna go sleep? Sleep. Okay. Good enough. It's 11 p.m. and he actually should be sleeping for hour and a half now. So, Michael, good night. Okay. Howdy. Another day, another stream, another experience. I was gonna say show, but it's not really a show. It's not a podcast. I don't really know what this is. A live stream. I'm going to be talking about Russian diplomacy today. That is a very interesting and hugely important topic that is talking about often overlooked here in Russia. Why should Russians be looking at something that is happening in other countries? They just care about things that are happening in Russia. And they don't even know what happens in other countries. And they don't know what Russian diplomacy does. And they only know what Russian TV says. Okay, and that's enough. Well, I decided to kind of give it a thought. Or two, or three. And, I've come up with interesting results of my thinking, and I want to share these results with you. I would like to tell you what I think about current state of Russian diplomacy. Why in the first place I started thinking about what's going on in Russia diplomatically? Because of one simple reason. I started hearing this incredible thing everywhere. In the media, in official news, in the newspapers, in Telegram channels. People started saying the coalition forces. The coalition forces used to be the Russian army's actions in Ukraine. But now it's the coalition forces in Ukraine, the results of coalition forces' actions in Ukraine. Well, I had no clue what the coalition forces were and who was a part of a coalition, so I decided to investigate. Oh, research. There's not much to investigate, really. It turns out what is called coalition forces here in Russia is the Russian army, obviously. In the armies, people's militias of Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic. What's universally called Donbass. Wow. Quite a mighty coalition, huh? Some people even include Belarus into this coalition, but it's not official. Belarus is a part of this coalition, hands down, because Belarus has been involved in the military actions. It provided its territory, and the Russian army did one of the strikes from the territory, or many strikes, I don't know, from the territory of Belarus. Anyway, the coalition forces kind of ring the bell. Because I heard that a long time ago. When was that? Back in 2001, 2002. The Operation Shock and Awe. My American friends, you must remember what happened in late 2001 and early 2002. The United States of America allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, found weapons of mass destructions in Iraq. And based on that finding, the whole ordeal started, and then Iraq was invaded, Operation Shock and Awe. I don't like that war. I don't like that action. I strongly opposed it. At that time, I thought it was a phony war. It was created due to the personal enrichment of some groups in the United States, perhaps internationally. And you know what? It turned out I was right, because the United States publicly apologized and publicly said that that finding of so-called weapons of mass destruction was a pipe, a piece of pipe or something like that. And based on that finding of a piece of pipe, Iraq was pretty much destroyed for the next 20 years. Anyway, I heard that before. And then I heard the coalition, and that rang a bell, because the coalition that the United States put together was also, well, not that legitimate. Definitely there were around 30 countries that sent their military support, even troops. But they were smaller countries that relied on the U.S. financial aid, on favors from American government and so forth. They weren't one single country like mighty power like China or a European country, France. France actually strongly opposed. That's how French fries were cut off from American lexicon. And then England and the countries that... Anyway, we're talking about Russia, not the United States, I'm sorry. So I heard that coalition, international forces before, and now I'm hearing it again. It's not the Russian troops, not the Russian army in Ukraine, it's the coalition forces. The coalition forces. Anyway, it shows me that Russia wants to be like the United States. It wants to act like the United States. It wants to assume the position of a country, a leader so strong that it can do things. Well, the only difference is the United States, when it was attacking Iraq, that was a universal understanding in the world that Saddam Hussein was the bad guy. Everyone agreed. There was not one single country that actually supported Saddam Hussein. I think even Russia didn't show any support. China, all these countries, it was kind of a no-brainer who the United States was attacking. And pretty much the entire world was behind that idea that Saddam was not a great guy. Now, fast forward to 2022, Russia has been making statements that Ukrainian government is puppet, was illegal coup in 2014, and that's why the government needs to be changed and the old government or legitimate government needs to be installed in Ukraine. The thing is, the only difference between back then with Iraq and now with Ukraine is that I think that's the only country that believes that is Russia, and the Russians and the Russian government and the Russian diplomats. At least I have yet to hear one single opinion of backing Russia in that statement. Russian officials. I could be wrong, of course, but I haven't heard. If there are opinions like that, there are not too many. So, that leads us to a very important question. Now, this is where my stream today gets serious and a little analytical. Russian diplomats claim today that 8 years ago there was illegal coup that happened in Ukraine, and the legitimate government was thrown away and illegitimate came. There was one president of Ukraine and Poroshenko, and there was a second president, has been second President Zelensky. I know that Vladimir Putin spoke to Poroshenko numerous times on telephone, and I know that Vladimir Putin met with Zelensky in Europe a year ago or so, a couple of years ago perhaps. They were discussing, negotiating, trying to sign Minsk agreements, and Ukraine backed out of the negotiations. But the thing is, 8 years. 8 years. 8 freaking years. Russian diplomats had to convince the world that Ukraine government is illegitimate. If it's really so, then my understanding, logic of and common sense, you have to do certain things. You have to get together facts, okay? Create a dossier, so to speak. Take this dossier and bring it to the international organizations, such as United Nations, such as, perhaps international courts, and you have to make a case. I mean, I don't understand why Russia would make a case about that. I think the Ukrainians had to make a case about that. But anyway, if you have plans for, changing the government in a forceful way, then perhaps before you have to use diplomacy, common sense and logic, and present your case in front of the world. Then you have to go to the countries like China, the United States, and discuss this very important issue with them. And, try to convince them. How do you convince? By being righteous, by presenting true facts, by making sense, by using common sense, by using logic and reason. That's the only way I see how you can win a case like that. You have to be righteous. You have to know it's true, okay? So Russian diplomats have known that it's true for 8 years. And what have they done? Who they have convinced? How many allies have they created? How many new friends, perhaps, they, brought to Russia? Well, it's really, really easy to tell because diplomacy is kind of a black and white activity. In business, when we try to sell our services and we build power stations, then once so often we have meetings with shareholders, and we have to present the results of our work to the shareholders. And the results of the sales department are very simple. You either make sales or you don't. Plain and simple. Okay, you can say anything you want, saying, hey, we participated in so many bids. We did so much work. We were busy. All our salespeople in the company were so busy from morning till night. We didn't have weekends. We had to work, all our days off. But the shareholders usually ask one question. Did you make any sales? And that's a yes or no question. That's very simple. Diplomacy is sort of like that. The results of diplomacy work, of, these actions taken by the diplomats, are very simple. Do you have allies or you don't? How many allies do you have? Do you have any? And this is where it gets interesting. Russians, at least Russians diplomats, they say that we have partners and we have allies, okay? And we have great allies and we have great mighty partners. And they actually name countries. Well, two biggest allies and partners recently have been named China and India. But it's really strange. Both China and India have not publicly supported Russia's special military operation against Ukraine, and they did not send any troops. They didn't even say anything good about it, okay? I'm not, just forget about the troops. Allies form coalition. In coalition, support is given to the members of coalition. So far, the only members of the coalition are Donetsk and Luhansk. Russia at this point, it's my opinion, I can be wrong, okay? But I don't know, it's my opinion again. Russia at this point has no allies. It has viewers. There are some countries in the world, they would like to know where this stand between Russia and the West will lead to, okay? But they will support the winning side, okay? They will wait until the end, independent who wins, and I'm pretty sure I know who wins. They will support that side, okay? They're not allies. They're being sold us by the Russian diplomats as allies, but they're not. They're viewers. Now, let's take a look at the results of Russian diplomacy in the last, I can say 8 years, or I can say recent months, I don't know. In the recent time, let's put it this way. First of all, one of the biggest results is that Russia has lost close allies, such as Kazakhstan, a very close country to Russia, used to be part of the USSR, very strong, very large country, real partner in business and in economic trade and, in business relations. Kazakhstan applied for Russia's help in the framework of ODKB, which is a union, how do I say that? Collective security coalition formed by Russia and former CIS, some of former CIS countries. So there were riots and they were getting out of control in Kazakhstan in January, right after New Year's. And Russia stepped in and helped Kazakhstan to restore order. It helped the president of Kazakhstan. And then, no later than 6 months after that, the president of Kazakhstan publicly insulted Russia. He came over to Russia and supported Ukraine publicly in front of Vladimir Putin. That's how partner ally is lost. There was a meeting of the members of this ODKB organization, and they include Kazakhstan, Russia, Armenia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Belarus. And the only country that supported Russia's actions back in February was Belarus. But Belarus is involved in it, actually. Everyone else did not support. That's not a win of Russian diplomacy. Again, Kazakhstan has been drifting off, and it publicly said that it would not be helping Russia to go around the international sanctions that have been placed. That's also a huge blow, and definitely not win of Russian diplomacy. NATO expands. It admits 2 new countries, Finland and Sweden. I have talked about this before. I have made streams dedicated to this topic. NATO expansion or shrinking is direct result of work that is done by Russian diplomats, Well, now NATO has extended border with Russian Federation by over 1,000 kilometers, and it, let two countries join. That's a result of Russian diplomacy. Turkey has been selling war drones, military drones to Ukraine. Turkey is still selling military hardware to Ukraine. It was just announced that 50 pieces of heavy equipment heading to Ukraine. And Turkey has been in talks with Russia quite a bit, okay? It says one thing, but it does another thing. And the deeds are, well, actions speak louder than words. That is the result of Russian diplomacy. Russia has been banned from airspaces of most European countries. Basically, I call this air isolation. The western part of Russia airspace and the western part has been closed, sealed, and that is also the result of Russian diplomacy. Iran has been, Russia has been going towards a union, better in relationship with Iran. Iran, my friends, Iran, before Russia became the most sanctioned country in the world, Iran was the most sanctioned country in the world, and it was a well-known pariah state, sponsor of bad things in the world. Gosh. And now Russia is friends with Iran. I mean, Russia always had somewhat warm relationship with Iran, but you know what? The warmth of this relationship has reached the new height. Vladimir Putin met Iranian president and Turkish President Erdogan in Iran a couple months ago at Russia's Turkey-Iranian summit. Nice. That's a win over Russian diplomacy. Sports. Russians are banned from participating in all major international competitions, such as World Championships, European Championships, the Olympics. I don't really know what motivation Russian athletes have now, because motivation of an athlete is to compete, win competitions, and get to the very top. How do you get there? By competing internationally. If I was an athlete, I would be reconsidering my life, trying to figure out what to do next. And that is the direct result of a work of Russian diplomats. The relationship with the West, the collective West as it's called in Russia, has been destroyed permanently forever. A lot about that says Dmitry Medvedev. I read his Telegram channel. Is it Telegram? Anyway, his personal social media, and he actually speaks quite a bit. That's a very interesting resource. I advise everyone to look close to that. Dmitry Medvedev is one of our Russia's top officials, and I have no reason not to trust him. Okay, he knows what he talks about, and he's very brave, and he talks very sharply and very directly. Okay, from his words, I understand that yes, Russia's relationship with the West has been completely destroyed for a long time, and that is the result of Russian diplomacy. And to top off, cake with icing, Russia now has official diplomatic relations with Taliban. In March, Taliban met with Russian top official, diplomat, shook hands, signed papers, and now we have relations with Taliban. You know, it's very ironic. This is going to be my last example of the win of Russian diplomacy. We used to fight Taliban. We used to have war in Afghanistan. And we didn't really fight regular people as we thought. We were fighting the extremists. They were Taliban. Then the United States fought Taliban for so long, for 20 years. And Taliban have been considered universally in the world, including Russia, for a long time considered the bad guy state, you know. And now, all of a sudden, it happens so fast, you know, just like this we have relationship with Taliban. I mean, where is this world going to? My friends, this would have I have wanted to tell you about how I see Russian diplomacy, what it has done, and what results it has achieved. Let me know in the comments, please. What do you think? Do you agree with me, or perhaps I misunderstood something? Perhaps there are other points about Russian diplomacy in the world, or perhaps you see Russia differently from your parts of the woods. Please let me know. And this has been my message for today. Thank you so much. I would like to turn on the comments. I would like to converse, hear good wishes from you. That's also nice. I would love to answer your questions. Let's do it. Before I turn live stream chat on, please use common sense before you post. Do not try to inform me of what's happening in a neighbor state. I know quite a lot. If you want to insult me, please don't, because it's useless. You know, you will be banned by mods, but trust me, I don't need any insults, because it's already hard as it is. Just use your common sense, please. Thank you so much. Comments are on. Reese Gray is numero uno today. Welcome, Reese. Mommy Lorna and Harry Potman. John Justeri. Rain Carnell. Donna. Reese never fails to be number one, quite often in the comments and in the super chats. Thank you so much, Reese. George, Mickey Marketeg, howdy. Jeffrey, Milhouse, Filippo, Sandy, Schwim. Hello from Canada, Mr. Popular. Most of the states openly supporting SMO were already considered bad in the West. I was wondering if Russians had persisting feelings towards these nations prior to SMO. Well, Reese, I don't really know who is openly supporting SMO. Belarusia, but Belarusia is involved. Belarusia has provided its territory for the strikes, not for the strikes, but for the movements of Russian army. That's a known fact. Who else is openly supporting SMO? I don't really know. Well, besides Luhansk and Donetsk, but they're not really countries. I mean, they breakaway countries. They were considered Ukraine until 22nd of February, right? Or it's like 20th of February or something like that. So let me know in a comment. Doesn't have to be a super chat or anything. It's just who do you think else is supporting? That'll be a revelation to me. RW, thank you so much for the support. No message, but very powerful message from you. Thank you. I really appreciate. Ferrari guy says sad but accurate analysis. Thank you very much. Scott Nesbitt, Frank in Texas. American Girl, Karen, Scotland. American Girl, Northern Indiana, USA. Johnny Neiman, howdy howdy. Bob S. Julia A. Cohen, hi from Finland, howdy. Pamela J. I'm here but not awake. Well, at least you're here. That's good. Robert Castaneda. Good evening from the USA. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. Howdy, howdy. Desert Coyote. I didn't know about the Taliban visit. There were two visits. One hush hush after the United States was pulled out of Afghanistan. There was a tiny article in the Russian news that a few Taliban officials flew to Russia, and that's it, nothing. And then officially in March, at the end of March, Taliban came and then they shook hands and everything, you know. You know what? Let me double check that. If you could give me a second, I would hate to misinform you. I did check, but that's pretty serious statement I'm making, you know. Just a second, guys and girls. The latest news is Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia commented on the possibility of recognizing, officially recognizing the government of Taliban. This possibility is valid, says Zamir Kabulov, head of one of the departments. So they have not recognized the Taliban. Okay, I don't think they have signed. I had information about Russia signing. They have not signed, but there's a possibility of officially recognizing Taliban government by Russia. Okay, that's the latest. 14th of June, 2022. Okay, good thing I checked. Todd Metzger, howdy howdy. Good to see you, Todd. John Parla, Janice. Ferrari guy, I never thought I'd prefer the USSR diplomatically to Russia, but there we are. My friend, things are really strange these days, you know. These are stranger days. Robert Pankovsky, coalition to me sounds like taking less responsibility by Russia for the SMO. What do you think? Robert, that is a very dangerous question. I'm not going to answer that, but I have a pretty good idea. You know what I think. Lena Axelson, howdy. Sweden in the house. Charlie B from um, Southern California, Pacific Beach. Is it Southern California or Mid Coast? Hot and muggy today, perfect for the beach. Hot and dry in Rostov. Was around 100 degrees today. Sun, sun, sun. It feels like Arizona, okay, right now in Rostov. Was also a good day for the beach. I worked all day, which is good. I'm not complaining. I like working. Pavliev flex. Taliban says France sounds like one step forward, but two steps back. I would say 155 steps back and one step forward. Something like that. Hey, Cohen, quite a world championship, yeah. None of the Russians that I have spoken to and I've asked questions. This phenomena about Russian people, they don't understand that they're paying to the government for employing all the people, all the government officials. And none of the Russians understand that we're paying our tax money go to also paying salaries to the diplomats, okay, and maintaining Russian diplomacy. Somehow Russians don't have this connection between taxes paid and the government's work. Okay, I understand that I'm paying diplomats out of my pocket. 13%, I'm paying 13% income tax. It's flat, just like any other Russian. I make money. Well, I earn money. I get paychecks from my work. That 13% goes to the budget, and that's my money. The diplomats get paid by me. I seem to be the only Russian who thinks so. Okay, perhaps I'm crazy, but that's that's okay. This is really strange. These are stranger things. Wild Wolf Pack. Could North Korea be a new ally? North Korea is an ally. It has been an ally. There are rumors that North Korea is going to send some troops to support Russia to use as needed, like 1,000 troops or something like that. It could be fake. I'm not sure, but that's what I heard. Miki Marketeg, thank you so much. A super chat. Today I found the Mlesna tea here in Sweden. My friend, how do you like it? Tastes great. All right, all right. People keep asking me what I'm drinking. This tea is called Mlesna. Well, its brand is Mlesna. It's really a Ceylon tea from Sri Lanka. There are different kinds. There is Highland tea. There's English breakfast. There's there's all regular teas, orange pico and everything. But this brand supplies extremely high quality tea. My friend, I'm so glad you liked it. I'm so glad you found it. Mlesna. They need to support me, sponsor me. Gosh, I've been advertising this company for so long. Janice, I'm a little surprised about the Taliban. Maybe I shouldn't be. Well, a little correction. Taliban is in the talks. They visited Russia. They're in the talks, and Russia says there's a good possibility of recognizing them officially as the government. Lisa, howdy, howdy. DRP, LP are not countries. Well, I don't know what to say. They're kind of saying they're countries. They're not recognized by anyone except for Russia. There are tons of cars from those regions, from those, I don't know, places with their license plates. They have tricolor flag on the license plate, and it says DRP and LPR. Okay. This free entrance, people can go back and forth in Russia, like to Russia, and then from Russia go back and forth. Patrick Beardry, my friend. All I can say is that I support you and your family. Big love from Canada. Patrick, thank you so much. Big love to Canada from Russia for whatever it's worth now, you know. Carol, warm greetings as expat in Lithuania. Cannot figure out how to make a contribution. Don't worry about Carol. You know, if you can't figure out, there is a reason for that. No worries. But every time that someone writes from former USSR countries and Eastern European countries such as Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, you know, Bulgaria, just warms my heart, because knowing that people have warm feelings towards me, despite all that bad history between our countries, is really uplifting, you know. Don Walters, think Mexican president voiced support for SMO? I haven't heard that. Is that true? Rain, Carnell, I didn't realize it wasn't set to continue. I'm a new member again. Interesting. Do you have to reissue your sponsorship every month? I don't really know how that thing works. I set it up and that's it. YouTube advertises this as set it and forget it. Okay, once you set it up, you don't have to worry about anything. Let us worry about things. Michael Wilson, who created the name of Afghanistan? Michael, I don't know. The English? Fury, howdy. Maureen, hi. Hope you are well. I am well as I can be in this situation. Getting better. Natasha is really sick now, but hopefully she'll get better soon. No COVID, just little seasonal sickness. Go figure. It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and then we're sick. You're supposed to go on vacation to unwind, to rejuvenate, and, you know, get healthier. I guess we didn't get healthier on vacation. George Walters, how does the USA and Russia go formalize, with the US sending thousands of trucks and tons of equipment, fighting together in World War II this? Same with China. George, I have a more recent example. 1991, American-Russian presidents meeting. Boris Yeltsin flies to the United States, you know, friendship, brotherly love, and fantastic relation. Bill Clinton comes to Russia, goes to Moscow State University in front of students. We're all shocked because it had never happened before. Fantastic time. And now, how does this, you know, get to this? The United States grants lend-lease to Ukraine, and Russia is outraged. And it's my friends, please save me from this madness, okay? I'm sitting right next to Ukraine, you know, 60 miles. Used to be the country that I didn't even consider a neighbor or a foreign country, not neighbor, but foreign country. I'd go there to see the hockey games, because Ukraine was part of this international hockey league, KHL, just like NHL, the United States, Canada. You know, it was Kazakhstan, Finland, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. And I would drive to Donetsk to see a hockey game, like 2.5 hours from my doorsteps to Donetsk. And now we freaking don't get me started. It's a terrible tragedy. That's all I gotta say. I don't understand how it's gone this way. Christian Cruze. But the Taliban was at the St. Petersburg Economic Conference Forum, International Forum. Yes, they were. They were. That's why I'm saying that we have relationship with Taliban. Oi. Arnis, thank you so much. Yeah, let's get in touch soon. I have some news. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Filippo, inside Russia, Russians are great chess players and they know that one move affects the whole game. Russian diplomacy does not understand that one wrong move can change Russia's history for many years. Not much I can add to that. Couldn't have said better myself. I don't know. The only question is why am I paying some people who are diplomats? Why my money from my taxes go to them? Yalant, привет, Konstantin. Do you answer any questions other than those of you, us friends? Well, send your question. I don't know what really. I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry, but ask me. Lise Dumbrell, thank you so much. Exhausting, both body and mind. Take it easy. Exhausting. You are exhausted, or what do you mean, Liz? Thanks for the super chat. Exhausted. I'm not feeling exhausted a little better because I'm coming out of sickness. I felt really, really bad a few days ago. Oh, I was dying. I was just laying in the bed. But now it feels so much better because it's on the way up. But mind is definitely exhausted. Hurt, really. Not exhausted, but hurt. Devon Harris, thank you. I have always been a fan, but your courage and conviction and walking the talk truly takes the words away. Thank you. Thank you. I'm flattered. Thank you so much. Godspeed to you. Stay safe. Stay strong. I will try to stay strong. Well, I'll do my best. But you please explain me, how do I stay safe? That is the biggest question. What do I do? I cannot just go offline because I'm gonna explode on the inside. How do I stay safe? That's the question I've been asking myself lately a lot. Thank you, Devon. Wonderful words, and thanks for the support. Paul Rayner, new. Really like your channel. Respect from England. Thank you so much, Paul. I thought of Bob S, and I immediately looked the time. FNU, LNU. Thank you so much for support. Please take care and be careful. That's your message. It's received. I appreciate it. Thank you. I will be trying really hard. Christian, Denmark. Great to see you. Travis, Pacific Beaches, San Diego. I see. Well, sending my love to you and to San Diego, one of my most favorite places in the United States. The weather, the climate there is absolutely perfect. two places I find with perfect climate. They are San Diego and Santa Barbara. You're lucky just because of that to live there. Elsha, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Still cannot speak freely, like easily, as easy as I have to be quiet a little bit. Richard Burris, any comment on commercial aviation in your home country? A good one. Yes, Richard, I have a comment. I'm gonna make a stream about that. Do you follow the NHL surfboard? Did you what kind of surfboard did you use? Glad you're getting better. Richard, fantastic questions. One super chat, many good questions. Now, my surfboard was an 11 footer. I'm a big guy, and anything smaller would not float me. Okay, 11 footer. I had a big surfboard, which it was not custom, but I did custom paintings around it. It was a great board, left in Maine. Do you follow the NHL? I follow. I really like Alex Ovechkin. I saw him play a few times. I know some people who know him here in Rostov. I never met him personally. He's a big star, obviously. I follow him. I follow his track record. I follow Washington Capitals. Washington Capitals is one of my most favorite teams because I know some players from Washington. Personally, I knew Alex Volchkov, Alex Tezikov. We actually were roommates for some time in Maine. They played for the farm team, Portland Pirates, and we rented an apartment together. Then I met Nikolitin, all-star defender for Washington Capitals. And that's one of my favorite teams. So I do follow NHL, not as much as I used to, but I follow Capitals and personally Alex Ovechkin. Any comments on commercial aviation in your home country? Oh my gosh, don't even get there. There are news recently that a brand new plane was cannibalized for the spare parts to support flying planes. I think it was one or a few. I did not see that coming because when this whole conflict between the leasing companies and Russian airlines happened, right after the start of the SMO, the Russians were saying, no worries, the planes will be flying for at least 3 years before, they need capital rehaul and, this whole thing. Very reliable planes, they're going to be flying very long time. Wait a second, it's been 5 months, 6 months, okay. And now they're cannibalizing planes for what? For new parts? So that's pretty much my comment on the current state of commercial aviation in my home country. That's madness. I'm going to start worrying about flying from now on. Not like I fly a lot because I cannot fly to Rostov. This airport has been absolutely closed since February 24th. The only closest place I can fly from is Sochi to the east, Volgograd to the northeast, Mineralные Vody to the east, or Moscow up north. And you know what? The closest drive to the closest airport, the shortest drive to the closest airport is 7 hours. 7 hours I have to drive to fly. Then I have to fly back, pick up the car, and drive back for 7 hours, okay? So I don't fly often. I drive now, these days. So, if I'm forced to fly, well, not forced, if I can fly to business trip or whatever, I will think twice before doing that. I will research what airline, what plane, and so forth. So, Richard, this is the state of current events here in Russia. Devon Harris. What is pop culture is like in Russia? It's all Western. It's the same thing as you have, Devon. Well, at least it used to be. Now things are changing. I don't really follow pop culture that much. I've been in the bubble here in my office, in my house, except for when I was on vacation. I met lots of people, conversed, and I should have stayed home. I didn't like that conversations. A plus Russian is here. Olga, welcome. Learn Russian on YouTube. Plenty of great channels for that, depending on your level and learning style. I'm more of a storytelling, listening practice. Well, everyone, go and check out Olga's channel, A plus Russian. Mods, if you could give, please give a link to her channel. Fantastic place to go. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Olga is a great personality, and then she does fantastic. She's a great storyteller, plain and simple. Jeffrey, Minnesota Wild have a star Russian player. Yes, Kaprizov, I think, and the kid is fantastic. He's phenomenal. He's young, you know. Russians had real good hockey players in the past. That's something to remember forever. The Soviet Red Machine, the Red Army Club. Oh my, that was hockey. Konstantin, have you ordered your new Moskvich car meanwhile? Eland. I ordered two, and they're going to be absolutely fantastic. They're going to be brand new, space design, minimalistic inside. This new technology, then when you get into a crash, you don't even need airbags. Everything is kind of like frozen in time inside, They're going to be running on pure oxygen. This is a new technology, not electricity. Forget that's yesterday's technology, okay? Not hydrogen or whatever. Oxygen, okay? You just sit in there, press your finger, it scans your fingertip, and you drive. So I ordered two. Then I woke up. Harry, great question, my friend. How about the railways now that Siemens is out? Well, railways, Siemens used supply, they had a factory that, not even supply, produced this fast trains, okay? Not too many of them in Russia. They are on certain routes. I did not take much of trains, so I can't tell you how it is to be going in the train. But I heard that one of the trains, Siemens trains, due to maintenance problems, was just stopped in the middle of a route, which is kind of disaster, for this entire railroad system. I hope they fixed it fast. I think that there will be troubles in the future. There hasn't been any news on that, but we'll see. Bob S. Check time. Ooh, 3 minutes passed. Yeah, couple more questions and that's it. Our mods are sharpshooters. Absolutely. Pavlovian response. Bob S. time. Yes, very much so. Ricardo, thank you so much for your words. Jeffrey, I did not ask. Yes, I did miss to ask Natasha. She's not feeling well. I'll wait until she gets better. Ferrari guy, Vlad Vexler. Oh, that's not to me. I heard the name. Gotta check it out. Good question from LabCat. Are parents allowed to homeschool their children instead of sending them to Russian schools? Yes, there was a movement for Russian parents to homeschool more and more of the kids because they didn't like what was becoming of Russia's educational system. And I heard crazy numbers before COVID. Everything changed when COVID started, okay, because it changed everything. All kids went homeschooled. I remember Dasha and Oля, they spent so much time at home and they didn't study anything, they're just pretending they were watching the lectures and stuff like that. So I didn't like that. 2020, March, April, and May, they stayed home. And then in 2021, late 2020, anyway, there is a law that allows parents to homeschool their children. I think now there will be profound changes in Russian schools. Ideology will be added to educational process, and I think more and more parents will be homeschooling their children. But we will see. Time will tell. Ferrari guy, the 10 bad years of the 90s are nothing compared to what's created now. You know what, my friend? I'm going to note your message because I don't think that those years were so bad. They were economically tough, 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 tough. My gosh. But I like the 90s. They were free. They were filled with opportunities, with hope. Okay? That was fantastic time compared to now. Anyway, my friends, thank you so much. I'm gonna be wrapping up the stream. We have a new sponsor, Holy Be Jesus. Oh, Be Zoogs. Zoogs. Holy Be Zoogs. Be Jesus. Why did I say that? Добро пожаловать на уровень Inside Russia. Thank you so much. My friends, as usual, if you're new here, I have a news for you. I finish every single stream with a prayer. And if you're not new, that you know that, please join me in the prayer. If you're a religious person, goes without saying. If not, just join me. Send good wishes and good vibes, good energy to people along with me and along with us. Okay? Thank you so much. Roberts, I don't drink kvass, too much sugar. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables. Thank you for giving roofs over our heads and surrounding us with people that we love and who love and care about us. Please help our children, keep them healthy and safe. Please help everyone in Ukraine, people who are in need of your help. Please help them. Hear everyone's prayers. Hear everyone who is asking for your help. Please provide help. Please send angels to Ukraine, to every single person, to civilians, soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, Russian soldiers, so the angels will make sure not one single drop of blood is shed anymore. Please help to stop bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out people who are responsible for making decisions whether to continue or not, and fill their hearts with love, mercy, compassion, remorse. Make their hearts softer. Fill them with forgiveness so they open their eyes and make the decision to stop. I'm asking to reach out the hearts of Russian President Vladimir Putin and American President Joe Biden. Fill their hearts with love, compassion, mercy, remorse. Make their hearts softer. Give them forgiveness so they finally make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please send strong angels led by Saint Michael with sharpest swords to fight off demons that have hijacked my country. Have angels run my country and make it righteous, make it a good neighbor, a good member of international community. Please help to women who are pregnant and making a decision to keep or not their children. Reach out to them, talk to them so they make the right decision. Please help everyone who is running for their lives, being forced out of their countries. Send good people their way. Please help everyone who is in fear of their lives in their countries due to oppression. Please send these people help, send them strength, and send good people to their way too. Help give us wisdom so we can raise our children the way that when they grow up and become adults, they will make this place a better world. We'll never fight with one another. Thank you so much for bringing us all into this community and giving us opportunity to pray together. Please help everyone who is praying or just simply watching us pray. Hear everyone's prayers, answer them, and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to mention a few people. Please help them. They need your help. Give them strength, love, and show them your miracles. They are 9 Veka, Ellen, Elena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Igor, and Bonnie, Buzz, and Mary, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Narnian Lady, Susan S., Susan, Fiona, Freddie, Madeline, Stephen, Ellen, Paul, Sabrina, Martin, Michelin, Priscilla, Donald from Wisconsin, who always prays for himself and asking for himself and for his country, the United States of America. Allison and Dave Moyers. I found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel, Ligo. May her father rest in peace. Give her strength as well. Ariana, Liz, Bruce, Kylene, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob S., Jessica, Minutes to Midnight. And I'd like to mention specifically 3 kids. They are Maverick, Sebastian, and Britzel Anders. Please give them good health. Keep them out of harm's way. Give them healing. Please bring them back to their parents healthy. They need your help and their families need your help very much. Thank you so much. Jesus, amen. My friends, thank you. Another good stream. You are absolutely awesome and you rock. I'm so glad that you come and talk to me, leave me comments. Fantastic, fantastic time. Thank you so much. You give me motivation to go forward, to move forward, and you are an inspiration to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, mods. I will see you all tomorrow. There will be a new message. Bye bye.